And now it's time for Martin County Business Exchange, and opinions expressed are those of the show hosts, not WSTU or Treasure Coast broadcasters. Any reproduction or retransmission of this program without written consent of WSTU is strictly prohibited. And your hosts today, let me introduce them. John Campion from a European Kitchen and Bath, and Todd Harris from Crown Car Care. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Top of the afternoon.
Yes.
Howdy. And, a couple of, actually 3 all-stars here, man. We got the A-team going here.
We do. We can keep you going. And then when you got to get going, you get right over to John's place for the toilet of the month.
For the Master Toto.
Yeah. I can give a personal testimony. About a year ago, I purchased a fine Toto toilet from John, and the sign of a good businessman is when you come back for more. And of course I did. Now we have 2 in the house.
Well, that's because your family decided that they would take that over, and you had to, you were the last in line, Todd.
Yes, I was. But you sell a fine product, and your
you.
service is second to none. And Ken over there, what a great guy he is. He knows his business almost as not quite as you, but he knows his business, and he knows how to get rid of it.
And he'll tell you all about it. Yeah.
Great place over there. You're located over there, I believe, on Monterey Road.
Yeah, 197 Southeast. We're right next to the older cemetery where
I was going to say the cemetery.
Yeah, people are just dying to get in.
Dying to get in and dying to go.
Yeah, that's right.
And the big billboard sign in that new car wash.
Right. It's a very, it's a happening corner, and it's changed a lot over the years. And
you've
big time.
You're second generation, I believe, with that.
I am. I'm, a lot of days I say, oh my God, I'm turning into my father. But my mom and dad started the business as a hobby over 28 years ago. Give them something to do when they retired the second time. They were very successful, and they just kind of, my dad, worked for a Swiss company, and the guy who he helped build his businesses in the U.S. said to my father, Dick, you can't play. I have a very bad Swiss accent, so I'll just use my regular
Swiss.
Hey, Dick, you can't play golf and fish every day, Dick. So I'm going to send you my discontinued and overrun sinks.
Yeah.
And you and Peggy can start a business. So they, it's kind of like the TV commercial, I think, for FedEx, where the couple gets a mixer.
Yeah.
They go, we don't bake. And then, a few scenes before that was 1 millionth order. So you just never know what's going to happen.
And I was talking to you earlier today about where I played golf and broke a window in Salisbury, Maryland. And you had, that was at one point in your life, it was your neck of the woods, or at least for calling on people.
Well, I lived in Richmond for 18 years. They were still fighting the Civil War when I left. But no, in all seriousness, but I traveled that whole mid-Atlantic from Philly down to South Carolina, over to actually over all the way to Arkansas and Alabama, Mississippi. I did a lot of
tar pits.
I've been through Appomattox a million times. Didn't realize what I was going through back with the Civil War history. Phenomenal.
Appalachia. What was that famous where George Washington surveyed that beautiful
Mount Vernon? No.
Mount Vernon. There was the woods and the Mount Rolling Hills, and there was songs have been written about it. I can't think about it.
Oh, I think it's I'm going to the river with Martha, and I'm gonna throw
just a beautiful area.
I'm gonna throw a $50 across the river. Yeah, was that it?
I'll never tell a lie.
I think Ray is he's the one who, either thumbs up or down with that. So I won't do that again. Okay.
You want to sing? Go ahead.
Well, I won't. I don't want to. Okay. And nobody wants me to either.
I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about this great country that we live in with American exceptionalism. Boy, what a topic it is. And it's bigger than all of us combined times 1,000.
Well, tell me what that's about, because you are a reader and a thinker, and you have a way of sharing your thoughts that are appropriate.
Well, American exceptionalism, really, I looked it up the other day with the definition. It's inherently what is it about America that makes it inherently different than other countries? And exceptionalism means you shine above everybody else, and you show you're exceptional.
You're a person of? I always use the reference of people who are people of excellence.
Yes,
that's one of my favorite terms. Selectively, I use that.
And one of the terms that always is with American exceptionalism is the phrase divine providence. Divine providence is that concept that in fact, it's on the dollar. In God we trust. It's that we're like Ronald Reagan said, we're a shining city on a hill, and our country has God looking over us, and that is divine providence. And really, it was first mentioned back in the days when the Pilgrims, when a guy named John Winthrop in 1630 came over on the Arbello, and that was with the Pilgrims, and he gave a famous sermon before they embarked on the new world. For them, it was a new world. They'd never been there before for religious freedoms. And he spoke about divine providence and that overseeing eye of God overlooking our country and our wonderful land. And that's
John Arbel. I've never, have you
John Winthrop.
Oh, John Winthrop. I'm
and
sorry.
The boat was
Where did I get it?
the boat's name was Arbello.
Okay.
Arbello. That was what they came over on.
Winthrop. I wonder, not Winthrop College. Nope, that's down in South Carolina.
1630. Long time ago.
Well, yeah. I think that was before COVID.
And if you look back at our history, we think of another concept that comes into play is manifest destiny, which is that
these are big words,
really good words, though. It describes our country to a T. In fact, name a war that we've lost other than Vietnam, which was in 1975 is when South Vietnam surrendered to North Vietnam. But other than that conflict that we had, we've never lost a war. In fact, Israel is the same way. Israel never lost a war. In fact, that Yom Kippur War in 1975, and they held back Egypt and Syria, I believe it was, that tried to take over Israel. And Israel, formed in 1947. And they are like us, divine providence.
Divine providence, and then you were talking about manifest destiny.
Yes. And all under the umbrella
under the same umbrella.
Exceptionalism, American exceptionalism. And if we look at, many times to define American exceptionalism, we can look at many of the famous concepts and ideas that we as a country have been leaders in. Look at computers, and look at Microsoft, and look at the operating systems that we've developed, and look at the science and technology. And in fact, look at after World War II, what did we do with Japan? We sent over Edward Deming, and we did time motion studies, and we gave them the concept of zero defect, and that was how Japan became a leader in quality. Was America taught them. We paid for it and helped rebuild Japan. So that's an example.
Toyota,
and Datsun.
Yeah, Datsun. Yeah,
Datsun, which is now Nissan.
You know all about that, don't you?
Yeah.
Well.
Ultimately, it became Nissan, and as we know, in the past year and a half, a guy named Goshen, who was their CEO, did the big escape. He hid in a box and ended up back in his home country.
Well, I have something very, very personal and close to me on that Goshen thing. I don't know if I talked to you about this, but Dee Dee, we moved here from Nashville, Brentwood.
Yes.
And our neighbors that live behind us,
yes.
Kelly and Mark. He was tricked into going over to Japan. He was a lawyer for Nissan for 30 years.
Oh.
Greg Kelly, not Mark. Greg and Dee. Anyways, what happened is they snaked him into coming over there. And when he stepped off the plane, they arrested him, and he's been in prison for 3.5 years for something he didn't even do.
Oh.
And then Goshen escaped, and they said that he was the one protecting Goshen from the. And so,
that big story comes right to roost in your neck of the woods. Very interesting.
What's interesting is Senator Rubio is aware of this, and so are a whole bunch of people, politicians. It's really a sad thing. If you want to, later on, Google Greg Kelly along in that Goshen thing.
Yeah.
And you'll see the story. It's quite frightening.
Yes.
And he is like the greatest guy in the world. They stuck him in prison, and they won't let him out. and Goshen's gone, and he's stuck there, and he's getting it just screwed to him. So, anyways, thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
It's personally people we've known for at least 30 years are good friends of ours.
If we
Yeah.
going to go back, if we track back our history in the United States, we look at some of our presidents. Look at Teddy Roosevelt, the youngest president of the United States, and we all know why he became president. Was McKinley was assassinated by an anarchist. And he was at a hotel, and he was shot at point blank range, William McKinley, and he did not die from the wounds. He died from an infection. So
wow.
He did not die from the wounds.
Wow.
And that was how Teddy Roosevelt became president.
Well,
and then when Teddy Roosevelt became president, we all know what some of the great things he's done. He started the Square Deal, which was a proclamation for the people to help common man and give everybody a fair shake in the United States. And that was one of his biggest accomplishments, as well as the Panama Canal, another example of American exceptionalism. And one of the other ones is he set aside, I believe, 193 million square miles of not national parks at the time, but set federal land aside.
And then later they were converted to national parks.
A lot of people think he did the national parks, but no, he set the land aside. And
I thought he had. So.
And one of his big friends was a guy out in California. I can't think of his name. He was a famous person that studied the ecology down in Martinez, California. I can't think of his name. Famous. You can't think of his name.
You got me.
When I say his name, you'll remember. But Teddy Roosevelt. What an example of American exceptionalism. In fact, I'll tell you a short story about him. He would have guests at the White House, and one of his characteristics was he would call, or obviously have to wire or find out about who his guests would be. And weeks before the guests would arrive, he would study their personal interests, and he would gain an interest in it. And when he would have his guests to the White House, he would then know information, and he would welcome his guests with something that they were interested in, and it would become, it would establish that great
that sounds
friendship.
like you.
Yes, he's my favorite president. By the way.
I would imagine. Yeah, that's right up. It's right up your alley for your exceptionalism and the way you are, and
Well, if you give more than you take, in the long run, you end up getting more than the takers get.
Well, and it's bottom line is it comes back to you.
Yes, it does.
It's like they always say, if you take care of your business, it will take care of you. And, we talk about business a lot. Our Martin County Business Exchange, with about the 50 approximate businesses we have in there, we're all 50 very different people. And we all have a common goal to run a service business or some type of whatever it is.
Business exceptionalism. And that was the segue that I wanted to segue into.
Yep.
We're here in Martin County, Stort, and I would say Stort is the shining city on a sandbar, not on a hill.
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing place. And
really
what's
is.
happened, this morning we were really blessed that we could have our morning breakfast at the Flagler Center.
Yes.
Down there over by just past the feed store. We're on the river at 7 a.m. with all our friends and having coffee and distancing and CDCing and having our business meeting. But the fact of the matter is, here we all are in the midst of whatever this is, and not ever knowing when it's going to go away, if it ever will go away. And how are we going to protect ourselves and also help each other be successful? And
that's American exceptionalism and divine providence in action here. And that was think about the World War I. That was supposed to be the war to end all wars. Think about all the doughboys that we would label them, and our soldiers that would go over in trench warfare with poison mustard gas, and that warfare, I can't even imagine it. You look at some of the early pictures of it, and it was just living hell, and hell was in capital letters and quotes. And we thought that was the war to end all wars. And then what happened? Germany, the dollar devalued because they lost the war. And then it rose into World War II, and another shining example of American exceptionalism and divine providence. What did we do? We were the leader in the world, and we did what? We basically entered that war and saved the world. In essence, I mean, I think it could be argued either way, or you could have many discussions on it, but you'll say one thing. America, not only did they send their troops over, but the people in the United States stood tall. What we sacrificed, we had rationed gasoline, we metals. In fact, I believe some of the pennies that were made during the wartime were actually made out of tin or steel. They didn't use copper because they used it for the bullets. Another example of how America, despite difficulties, despite tribulations and trials that cause us to think that there's never going to be an end to the disaster that we're ensued upon, we always shine tall. And that's that divine providence of God looking over us.
But, at the same time, Todd, I look at that. I'm just not, none of us are a fan of war, but you seeing how things today are, and, we still fighting long wars, but still haven't being plugged in, because who else, I guess, right?
Yes. And what, 1991, we were the only world superpower. That was when the Berlin Wall fell with Ronald Reagan. And up to that point, from 1947 on, we were a two-world superpower world, right? You had Russia and the United States, or the Soviet Union. And then in 91, the Berlin Wall fell, and it with Gorbachev and Reagan, and then we became the only world superpower. And now what do we have on our heels? We have another world superpower right up our heels, and we know what that country is. Yeah. So it's almost like history revisits itself many times, and many times we're put under the stress of having to deal with these things just like we have today. And what happens? We shine.
Well, so going forward here with the way things are, looking ahead the next 6 months to a year, what do you see is going to be going on?
I see this event that we've dealt with as a change that has put in business, has put in the people a way to look at things differently. We're going to see examples of opportunity. We're going to see entrepreneurship like we already are, and change. And think about when we had horse and carriage, and we didn't have roads, and we didn't have paved roads, and we had the Model T Ford with the production line and Henry Ford. No one would ever have thought at the time that, oh my gosh, the cars are here, and what happens to the blacksmiths? What happens to the horse and buggy manufacturers, the coach manufacturers? Well, what happened? They converted into making the coaches for the cars. And you look at the Fisher body, and all that stuff took what we thought was a destiny of doom, and we turned it into opportunity. And that's, if I had to say one ingredient was missing today, is the optimism to know that change, if we look at it properly, always brings forth more opportunity and success. And I think we're starting to see it now. And people, when we're struck with the type of situation we've been struck with, it hammers us hard, right? The economy got shut down. Businesses have failed. Many restaurants have closed up. Many small businesses, and even in our business group today, have failed. And it is a travesty, but we'll rebuild. We always have. There's nothing stopping us other than our own stubbornness to look at opportunity.
Yeah, well, that you're right. I mean, I don't know. I take things and, you got an incredible mind, I have to say, with you do so much reading, and
I do.
It's pretty obvious. He's a brilliant guy. I mean, Ray's looking at me, we're both nodding our head. Yes. But how that carries over into your business, and how you have shared your passion for success, for family, for business, for the things that you do for other people is above and beyond. You got the energy. I kind of wish I was a young guy like you.
I'm going to read. Here's a quote. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And it was written in 180 AD by Marcus Aurelius. 180, Stoicism. 180 AD. What a quote of today. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Your thoughts can change everything.
They can.
And that's all that it takes, is change of thought. And that it's, instead of looking at adversity, look at it as opportunity.
Well, that's it. You know, being of positive thoughts, thinking positive. It's ironic you said that. I can't wait to get home and talk to my wife because she was reading the Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, really? He wrote a book called Meditations, which is
that's what it is.
I'm listening to it now.
Okay.
You know, these old books, there's no copyrights on them. So you can, the publisher publishes the book. They can, you know, there's no payout.
I'm surprised she's not listening to it because she listens all the time.
It's on podcast. They have a podcast.
Okay.
And if you have a Google phone, whatever, but it's, I've been listening to it and it's relevant. And that's why our history is so important. Even the mistakes that we make in history.
Well,
and we have to look at history and never erase it and always remember that many times cultures and societies have been through the same thing we have. The only thing we have different is technology. And technology is something that we can use as a double-edged sword. We can use it as a weapon, as in war, or we can use it as an opportunity to better our life, better our way of life and our society and our standard of living. Look at our country. Who would ever dream that the average man would have a TV, a cell phone, and most people have cars and food to eat? I mean, yes, we have homeless. Yes, we have people that starve. But in general, our way of life has picked up from the time of westward ho, man. When we went out west with the 49ers and people would go across the Great Divide and they would pack up their wagons and they didn't know what the next thing was going to bring us.
Yep. Yeah. It's a slow roll there, you know, thinking about that. It's amazing of what our forefathers ahead of us have done for us. So here we are in a world of excess.
Yes.
And, you know, it's, and with this world of excess, it's just crazy of how some people approach that. And, you know, you can't.
Temperance. I think the word is temperance.
That's another good word.
Temperance.
I got to write these down for Scrabble. That's like a triple word score right there. Thanks.
Temperance
Thanks,
is the word. You know,
temperance.
Temperance is, with technology, you have to have temperance. If you don't have that, it can be a runaway train to destruction.
Where do I get your book, Todd?
Where do you download my brain at? I don't
know.
It's the course of my life.
It's
the hard knocks. It's the hard knocks of failing that bring
it's
forth
an 8-valve diesel engine.
Yes. Speaking of engines, and we're now on the cusp of a company by the name of Prometheus is on the cusp. In fact, they've got a contract. Prometheus is the name of the company, and they are going to be taking the CO2 and converting it to water. And then taking it and that with a catalyst converts it to alcohol, and then they take another catalyst and they use indium and vanadium, and with those two catalysts they can convert it into a hydrocarbon with no sulfur and no pollutants that the frackers and the oil drillers have to use. And what's interesting is a gallon of Prometheus gasoline puts out 36.3 kilowatts of energy. The amount of electricity it takes to convert it is 61 kilowatts. What they're talking about, though, is that kilowatts of electricity that they'll use would be through solar and renewable sources. So that's free, basically. So we can then, it looks like it would be a net zero or a net negative, but not really. If you use a renewable energy source to generate the electricity, then you can take a break.
No, I got a question for you. Okay. Yes. It's interesting because and I'm a car nut, big time. And I've long thought that they could take water because it's so prevalent all over the world and use that as a source for fuel many years ago.
I think there was a carburetor I read in the back of a Popular Mechanics when I was a kid that said that the big three bought up this guy's patent on burning water and the carburetor, and he disappeared.
Sure, they don't want that to happen, and there's so many things attached to it.
I can remember seeing the ad next to Charles Atlas telling me don't kick sand in my face.
No, but with filling stations and other things like that. I mean, also parts, because cars are actually, I equate them to human beings, if you think about it, because they fall apart. Okay, they're attrition, and that's on purpose.
Yes,
because I'm sure like building timing belts out of Kevlar and things like that. They can make it last longer, but there's only a certain amount of times you can open that door handle for the car inside or outside, and that thing's going to break. there's so much stress.
Remember, planned obsolescence brings forth innovation.
Right. I get that. But if we made it last forever, that would put a lot of people out of business, wouldn't it?
The service industry, the retail industry, it all
Right.
combines to make our great economy.
That's it.
And because of that, and of course, it results in betterment.
Mhm.
And one of the big problems, and we talk about electric cars, and the big problem with converting to an alternative source of energy to propel our vehicles is the distribution network.
Mhm.
How do you have a fleet in a big city that uses electric cars to refuel? The
Right.
problem is the time it takes to refuel on a battery level. Yes, we've got technologies where we exchange liquids, and there's all kinds of ideas, but that's all pipeline dream stuff.
Right.
When the pavement, when the feet hit the pavement, we've got to have a mechanism to refuel these cars in a hurry, because we're a mobile society. We're not yet stationary, although we've been stationary for a while.
Right. But you take that, okay, and it takes what, 20 minutes, a half an hour or longer to refuel to a certain
Even
point.
at level 3 chargers, it takes a half hour. Even with the Tesla superchargers, it
Right.
still takes a half hour.
Okay, and you're only getting what, 300 some odd miles on that, something like
I
that.
think they've got 400 now on the new
Let's just
Tesla.
say it's 300. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
good barometer.
Okay, so you take that.
Minimal.
They've looked at hydrogen. They've looked at so many different
Hydrogen,
types.
you'll never work because of
Yeah.
the distribution of it. It's so flammable. Look at
Blow up.
the Hindenburg, right?
Right, it'll blow up. So I just wanted to point that question to you. That's all.
It's the
because
distribution. What dictates the future of automobiles and the future of transportation is the distribution network of the energy that whatever source we go to. It's distribution, baby. It's always distribution. It's not about how the car, what energy source we use. It's how do we get it to the car to last.
If you're listening and you would like to give us a call, you may call us at 220-WSTU, or that would be 220-9788. And I'm telling you, if you're a car person and you want to know something about cars, or actually, if you want to know something about anything, Todd Harris is in the studio. Okay. If you want to know something about a faucet or a sink or something with water, sort of related to
toilet.
kitchen and bath, call John. So again, it's 220-WSTU or 220-9788. We're standing by and we'll be here. So can we take a quick break,
Yeah, sure.
boss?
Al,
All
you're the
right.
boss. So.
Ray's going to give us a little, we're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to take a break here. Right?
And we'll return to Martin County Business Exchange with your hosts, John Campion from European Kitchen and Bath and Todd Harris from Crown Car Care. And gentlemen, it's been an exciting show, and we have people that want to talk to you. So,
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a caller. I'm just going to leave him anonymous so that you can find out who it is. So go ahead.
Who are we so lucky to have on the phone with us?
Good evening.
Good
Let
evening.
me turn my radio down.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to do that or you get an echo.
Welcome aboard.
I'm John. He's Todd, but who cares? What's going on, Kevin? What can we help you with tonight? Can you hear me?
Hope we didn't lose him.
Okay. He may have turned, I think he's turning his radio down, but do you want to listen?
Kevin, can you hear us? Kevin, it's John and Todd. Are you there?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
You bet.
All right. I guess my mute button also mutes my phone.
Of course. We pressing buttons. We just don't have time for these things.
has to teach me how to use my car. Thank goodness it's Todd Harris.
Hi, Kevin. I know exactly who you are.
You've got that beautiful smile.
Anyway, I just wanted to thank Todd. If anybody's listening, he takes care of all my vehicles for my company and my family. And yesterday, my sister-in-law got into a predicament, and she had been to a dealer and to another mechanic, and they wanted $3,200 to fix a problem. Took it over to Todd, and Todd and his team looked at it, and the problem they diagnosed was incorrect. Todd was able to go on the internet last night through his many sources, find a mildly used part and fix her car for less than $2,000 instead of $3,200.
Yep, that's what we do.
So,
and Kevin owns a great company called Group One Security, and boy, they take care of my buildings, my house, and they're Johnny on the spot. When you own a business, you always have situations that occur, and I've learned to become on first name basis with their staff, and they are just another shining example of a business that keeps you safe and secure in a world that's maybe a little unstable today. And that's someone who you want on your side is Kevin over there with Group One. They're right over there in the Jack James area in Stuart.
Yeah,
thanks, Todd, but I called in to thank you.
Well, I'm thanking you.
Well, and I'm thanking you too, because you keep all my everything protected at both locations in Stuart and Vero, and we thank you.
Well, we appreciate us
Checks in the
being
mail.
trusted by you guys.
No,
But I will tell you, he put me in good graces with my sister-in-law. It won't last long, but I'm in their good graces for a little bit.
Well, that's what we try. We try to be a diplomat too. I've been known to be a diplomat, counselor. I've sometimes been known to be an accountant, lawyer, bail bondsman, all kinds of stuff.
you know, between the two of you, Kevin, you and Todd, you guys could get out of any trouble because you both are very brilliant.
But as fast as you can get out of trouble, if Kevin and I were left to our own devices, we probably could get into trouble too, I would suspect.
Well,
Is that
that's
right,
right.
Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin's from an Irish family. They're a little crazy.
Yeah. He's got some of the best cosmic wings up there in New York. He's had some of the best wings the man could ever taste.
So, anyway, I'll go back to listening to you guys. I was enjoying the conversation.
Good.
I wanted to call and tell Todd how grateful I was and how grateful my
All right.
sister-in-law
Well,
was.
thank you
She
so
was
much for
actually in
calling.
tears when she called me this morning.
That's great. That's
Well,
great.
fabulous. It's great to hear your voice, and we'll see you soon, Kevin.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Take it easy, bud. So yeah, Kevin Madden.
A fabulous individual.
Yep, you bet. Yeah,
Smart as a whip.
and he is funny too. He's a quipper. He can quip them to you.
My son Max on occasion have sat down with him. I don't know. We were at some events, and Kevin always sits down and puts his arm around Max, and Kevin always has a great life lesson story to tell you. And he's told my son a couple, and it sticks with me knowing that a good friend of mine can instill in my son, who's obviously 13, still learning, some good ethics and some good stories to guide him through life.
Well,
That's Kevin.
he's got a good mentor. Max does, and and to have Kevin do that, which he is. Again, here we are back to my word of person of excellence.
On another note, Ford Motor Company's coming back out with the Bronco.
Yeah, but is it going to be?
Yeah, Bronco.
But is that going to be? Is that going to be electric? I thought they were going to do all electric.
It's out. The
It's
Bronco's
out.
out.
It's a 4-door and 2-door.
Yeah.
The doors and the roof come off easier than a Jeep. They stow in the vehicle. It's available with a 3.6 V6 motor as well as a 4-cylinder EcoBoost motor.
Yeah.
And it's available with a manual transmission as well as a 10-speed automatic transmission. And that 10-speed automatic was a joint venture between General Motors and Ford about 8-9 years ago. And now it's in the market. And what a fabulous transmission it is, 10-speed.
Wow. I know they compared it and they wanted to go back because I did some reading on it. I'm a car nut
Yes.
from way back.
We've had many discussions. on
Yeah. No, I could talk to you for hours, about cars. But going back to the original, what they want to do is go back to the original and improve on the original Bronco from the 60s.
No.
And that's what they were looking at. And if you look at the new design, that's retroed from the 60s, really a little bit. If you take a good look at it, it's a good looking vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Very sleek looking. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's, that's something's going to sell, I think, like hotcakes.
Wow.
But
All the switches are waterproof, silicone waterproof. The seats are washable with a marine material. It's really a really neat, as you know, a lot of the trends, people like to get out into the wilderness and and be adventurous and yeah, manifest destiny. And they take this Bronco, and I don't know how the sales are. I don't even know if you can actually buy one yet.
And they thought this up themselves.
And it starts at $28,500.
So, you know, and look at the price of a Jeep Wrangler or something like that. You know what that starts at in the 40s.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But man, how come there are so many Jeeps on the road? Because we're in South Florida? Because, I mean, just all of a sudden in the last couple of years.
I'll tell you why. Obviously, they had their pulse on trends, but also they manufacture a platform that is conducive to the owner doing doodads, add-ons, lift kits, tires. It is a partnership with the aftermarket. They've been open to it. And as you know, who owns Jeep is FCA, which is a good old Italian company. And there's many views on that, but they've done a fine execution on darn near everything.
Now, is that part of Fiat because Fiat tied in with Chrysler?
Yeah, and Ferrari, they own Ferrari.
Yeah.
They own Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know the family? I can't think of the Fiat family's name. I can't think of that famous lady.
And they're selling like hotcakes. Those little Fiats now. You know, you see them all over the place.
Yeah.
The Fiat Spider, they revitalized. You know,
the Agnelli family.
Oh,
the Agnelli family. And the famous lady was Mirella Agnelli. She was the last. They called her the last swan. She was the daughter, and that was the family that ultimately ended up buying Ferrari or merging with them or taking them under the wing. And that was that failed attempt of Henry Ford. Well, it would be, what was his name? Not Henry Ford, but his grandson.
Oh, okay.
That was that famous movie that was just out with
Ford and Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari, which is Matt Damon was in it. And
that was a fantastic
Ken
movie.
Miles was the driver, and I believe he stole the show.
Chris Bates.
Yeah.
Chris Bale.
Yeah.
Right?
He stole the show.
Yeah.
Travis and Damon was Carroll Shelby. And from what I know about Carroll Shelby, I've owned a Shelby. And GT 500. Looking at getting another one.
And I had a Pinto.
You had a GT 500?
Yeah.
What year?
Well, it was 07.
Wow.
750, 800 horsepower.
So one time they revitalized it. They revitalized it again.
They've just come out with it. End of 2019, they have the GT 500, and that has 765. I'll repeat that, 765 rear wheel horsepower. And that is a dual clutch 6-speed transmission in that thing. So it shifts faster than the human can shift. That's what they got those from F1 racing cars.
I got to ask you something. With these cars with a lot of horsepower, like the Ford GT and the Mustang GT, you know, and also if you flip it over to Chrysler with a Dodge, the SRT8, the Hellcat,
yes,
the Charger and the Challenger, they got a lot of beef. They're better on gas. Where can you use all this?
Just when no one's looking.
That's what I'm saying.
When no one's looking.
Just had to ask.
The Roosevelt Bridge.
Well, no.
Get it shaking.
You got to get it.
Wow.
Go 35 miles an hour.
Listen, people find a way. If you have that desire, it's like climbing a mountain. If you want to get to the top of that mountain, you're going to find a way to get there. If you want to exercise the extreme ends of what that car can do, you're going to find a way. I guarantee it. I don't know whether it's 714 on Martin Grade or going out around Lake Okeechobee. You're going to find a way to do it.
You got to go to Pontiac, Michigan, or something.
Yeah, right. I know.
And a lot of these accelerate 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. I believe is that new GT 500.
That'll throw you right in the back seat. You know,
and it's a dual clutch. And I don't know if anyone knows what dual clutch is. It has 2 clutches, and what it is it's a manual transmission that shifts like an automatic, and you're able to do instantaneous because it's in the next gear already.
Is it up here? Is this where
Yeah,
it's on
you can paddle
wheel?
shift it,
Paddle shift,
but they do automatic shifting, and it is a direct link. It has its own separate ECM, so it's microseconds on the shifting. It when you drive one. In fact, the hybrid that you were talking about that you saw my family in, and that is a dual clutch, and it is faster shifting than an automatic or anything any human can do manually, and it traces its lineage to, I believe, Ferrari with F1 racing, and it's a way to get a lot of power to the pavement without causing collateral damage on moving parts. Because remember, with high torque, what's your enemy? The input shafts and the output shafts and the drive shafts. And if you cause a jolt in the torque, what's going to happen? It's going to jolt the metallurgy, and you end up with cracking and vibrations and things like that. And that's what dual clutch technology has done away with. It's a seamless shift.
If you don't think Todd can fix your vehicle, if you got a problem after you just heard that, I'm telling you, the guy is the best.
That
Not the
sounds-
best, but
You're the
it's just I
best.
have an interest in what I
Well,
do.
you do, and because he can do. By the way, Todd Harris at Crown Car Care can do anything from electric to diesel, and I'm telling you, everything in between,
Yeah.
and that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty.
We're
cool.
moving to a new location in Palm City.
Well, let's
give you the
once you-
address. It's 4175 Southeast Martin Highway. We should be there by the 1st of next month. It's a much bigger facility. It's about 3 times the size of what I have now, and I just can't wait to get there. I can't give you any more details other than it's a work in progress. It's like a painting. You throw the paint on the painting and the canvas, and by the time it's done, you have something beautiful, and that's what I'm hoping to have.
We have a paddle double shift. Yeah. So
I just can't wait. And then there's a traffic light there, so you'll be able to get in and out of my facility. It's got a lot more parking. If you've been to my Palm City store, you know parking's a premium. So we're just going to be able to offer everything to the customer and provide superior service like we always have.
I'm
better
just
environment.
wondering if I can put a paddle shifter on a Toto toilet.
Oh my
That
gosh.
would be
That
an
would-
automatic.
Flush-o-matic.
Well, it would be, and it would be there would be a courtesy flush right away, and then you would never know that as it's everything's sliding away.
Well, I've always wondered with the Toto toilet, what causes the instantaneous force of flush? Is it there's something that's different about the Toto toilet? Is there something you can maybe tell me about that?
Well, it's a computer generated plumbing.
So they
the
designed
trapway.
it. Okay.
It's computer generated, and what it is it's a fully glazed trapway. Now, that's not answering your question. The fact that it's a 2.5-inch fully glazed trapway is bigger than a lot of the manufacturers have copied all the best things of Toto over the years.
Sure.
Because when they came to the States in
1988.
yeah, they were just running circles around everybody. And then, of course, now they've really put a big push on their product in the U.S., particularly on those washlet bidets we were talking about. But the with that and the I don't want to say it's vortex, but when you flush that,
Yes, there is a vortex-y kind of sound and visual. As you watch.
there's a push.
A push?
There's a push from the water that you can see the jet come out from towards the front of the bowl, towards you.
Yes, I've seen that.
It pushes, and then of course with the ones you got, they have the tornadic flush, which is it comes out of don't come out of the little hole ports around the whole like
It
conventional.
swirls around like a
It
tornado.
swirls, and it gives you 50% more rinse. So
Well, I've been experimenting with golf balls, and I think I've got up to 40 golf balls down at once.
at once,
You know,
yeah, because you're not
40.
going to get them back.
Oh, I know that.
Just make
They were just shag balls anyway.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have a
It's
couple.
fun to experiment with.
I have
these
some
things.
Acushnet, I have some Baladas, and I have some
a lot of covers.
yeah, and I have some Royales. I don't know if you remember Royales. They had the weird you would know what it is. It's like the geodesic shaping on it to
Yes.
give it extra yardage, but those were the days. Yeah.
And I've also noticed on the Toto toilet, very little cleaning, or at least 70% less cleaning. There seems to be a finish on the surface of the toilet that really almost self-cleans itself.
Well, Todd, you have stated it. It used to be called Santa Gloss. It's now called Sifiantec, something like that. And it's a extra fine microbial glazing that's put on.
There is
bowl.
a difference, and I noticed it.
Yeah, they put it on the bowl and under the rim and everywhere, and it's supposed to protect against bacteria forming and from products sticking to the bowl.
Sticking. So if
Yeah,
we've perked your interest in this, where does Toto originate from? What
it's
country?
Japan. It's
Japan.
a Japanese.
Toto.
I mean, when we go to the conventions, all the chiefs are there, all the dudes
Sitting around, are they?
Oh, they're
sitting around.
they're nodding and doing whatever they got to do.
Sitting down.
I was actually at a party that one of the distributors had down at the race at Miami, the end of the year race, and the president of like the U.S. operations was there, and he didn't understand a word we were saying, and he could just nod his head. But I can tell you, it's they're the world's largest. Toto is the world's largest plumbing manufacturer in the world. They are larger than you can
Wow.
combine Kohler, American Standard, all these guys together. They are the largest. They have 80 manufacturing plants around the world. Now, the cool thing is our main brand of toilets that we sell from them, the main group of them, they're all made right up in Atlanta.
Oh, fabulous.
At their, they have
So it's an American-made product, and John, for the most part, has them in stock. I know the two I
We
bought,
do.
you have them in stock. I backed my truck up and picked it right up, and it's right over there on Monterey. Convenient place to go get. You see Ken or John over there, and they'll dial you in, and they'll set you up with that Toto toilet. And I can say from a testimony standpoint, there is nothing like it. It just keeps on flushing.
I appreciate that. And the thing that, I want to make sure that our listeners, if they have not been to our store, it's, we're here and we're up in Vero, 3,000 square foot showroom. It's not the biggest thing, but we have.
What are some of the other products that you have other than toilets?
Well, we sell tubs, freestanding and drop in. The tub market is huge.
Tub, the old.
Well, the freestanding tub market is really huge right now. A lot of people are putting them in, whether they like a tub or not.
It's good visual.
You got tubs. We sell shower systems like crazy. We have excellent shower systems from 5 or 6 different,
higher. Where you can have multiple jets shooting.
You can have several functions and, hand shower, shower head.
Neat.
Yeah, you can do that and have the jets. We have faucets. You're replacing a faucet in your kitchen. You're replacing a faucet in your bathroom. You're tearing out a tub and want to put in a new tub, an alcove tub, like your 30 by 60 tub. We have remodel, help your remodel. We have the product in stock. We have staff that if we were as knowledgeable about every product like Todd is about what he knows,
and they are, believe me, they are.
We try to do our best, and I've got just wonderful people that work for us. We try to have fun and make you feel comfortable. We're not in there to. We have more people that come in that need our help, and of course, you mentioned Ken earlier. He's the Shell answer man at our company. And
now, do you, if you want to try a product out, like let's say a Toto toilet, do you have testers there?
No, I don't have any testers. I do have some shower heads and hand showers. We'll let the
because I know your quality. I know one of the things about the products that you offer, it has to do with that form follows function. It's aesthetically, anybody can make something that's good looking. But can you make something good looking that stands above everybody else because of the function? And that's, I would have to say, what your product.
Oh yeah, it's there's internal things. When a lot of people come into our store and they think, oh my gosh, you guys are really expensive. Well, we're not expensive. You
have different price points.
Oh, we do. There's, like I say, we always say there's a lot of ways to skin the cat.
Sure.
And so we are very competitive against a big box store. And the best thing about our store is when you come in, the guy from carpeting isn't coming over to sell you a shower system.
Well, I can say with the Toto toilet, if you look at the top of the line product at a big box store, they're top of the line, and you compare it to what John has with his Toto toilet, which I bought, which is a basic toilet. It's nothing that doesn't do the bidet and the music and all that, but it's just a high quality piece. It's right in the same ballpark, and you're getting quality. You're getting the microbial finish. You're getting a tornado flush.
And that's the thing throughout our products. We don't want to sell, we try not to sell anything from China. And I can tell you that is very hard to do, but we do a great job with the manufacturers we sell. Okay. A lot of products made in the US.
Yes. But you can have bad products made in the US too.
Well, you can
look at your like spigots and sinks and your faucets, and how many people have bought a spigot and a year later the thing drips.
Well, a lot of people talk about, some of our not my competition, our vendors competition. The quality of our products are really amazing. And when you have people come in and say, "Where's this made?" and you say, they go, "It's not American." We say, "Well, what's American?" They go, they'll say one of the M or the D word or the K word,
Yes.
And you know what? If you ever read the side of those boxes.
MIC, made in.
Yeah.
MIC.
I think I know the K company. The only thing they make in the U.S. there are cast iron. I think it's cast iron sinks.
And I know some of the technology. Ken had come to one of our business meetings and talked about ceramic valving that's in these faucets.
Yeah, ceramic disc cartridges. They won't wear out.
Oh, another new buzzword. Maybe we can catch that up on our next show. We can talk about this ceramic thing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. You know, you don't have washers.
No dripping. It's a real fluid.
Yes, that's true.
Moving of there's no the force or the torque it takes to move the faucet is the same all the way through that process.
And the nicer the product, the smoother that
It's
is.
fluid.
Just like anything else.
Yeah,
you know,
fluid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
John has it all over there. I'm telling you, this is just the tip of the iceberg with John over at Monterey Road, and you have a location in Vero Beach too, I believe.
Yes, we're on US 1, just in Gifford, actually. For those of us familiar, Gifford.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got we're
GIF.
Yeah, we're in an area called the Design District.
Well,
so we've transformed Gifford into a fine place.
And now, if people were to come into your business and they were needing some help with design, is that something you can dial them in on that?
We can do that, and we can also hook them up with people to do their remodel.
So you have all kinds of options and services at European Kitchen and Bath over on Monterey Road. And what a buy local, stay local. You're going to deal with a perfect gentleman. You're going to deal with a staff of people, and the ringleader over there is named Ken, and boy, he has experience, years and years of experience. And I know
he laughs a lot, and he likes coffee.
He does. He does.
Yes.
He's always in a happy mood.
I just want to tell you, if you get an opportunity, we're getting ready to sign off here, but European Sink, singular, EuropeanSink.com. Okay. And you can do that or call us at 221-3990 or look us up on the web. We're there. And we're 28th year in business in Stewart.
We got a second. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. 1863. That was Abraham Lincoln on the Gettysburg Address. Government of the people, by the people, for the people.
And today's words: manifest destiny.
We had divine providence,
exceptionalism, temperance.
And you know who first stated it? Alex de Tocqueville in 1849.
Okay.
Talking about
thanks for joining us on the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday night show. We'll talk to you next week. Todd, thanks for making it a lot of fun with your, we'll look forward to seeing your
fun
book.
Show. Yes,
yep.
Sir.
And Ray, thanks as always. Great job.
All right.
We'll see
Signing
ya.
off.